We have an amazing interview today. Hello, everybody. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing exceptionally good. I hope you're feeling healthy. To those who are recovering from COVID-19, we say thank God that you made it. To those who lost their family members from COVID-19, condolences to your family members. It's been a very hard time for all of us facing this pandemic. Take care of yourself, guys. You have to make sure that you protect yourself. Make sure that you are safe. Please make sure that you are wearing a mask, you wash your hands, you social distance, keep a 6 feet distance, which is about 2 meters. It is very important that we protect ourselves. It is very important that we make sure we are alive. All the successes we've achieved will mean nothing if we are not well. Our health is our wealth. Hi, Kulani Andile. Welcome everyone. I'm live on Facebook, and I'm also live on Instagram. So my Instagram handle is cancer_dr. But today we have the most amazing interview with the wonderful lady. Her name is called Thandeka Mazibuko. She is a medical student in her second year in South Africa. She was originally a nurse, and she decided, I want to upgrade myself. I want to upgrade my skills. I'm going from level of being a nurse, and now I'm going to just go to medical school. This is not an easy decision because medical school is not that easy. And a lot of people are scared of the thought of even going to medical school, let alone starting to apply and going to actually medical school. Hi, Kulani says hi. How you doing? I'm waiting for her to join us on Instagram. We have Bryans. Welcome. Thank you for joining. This interview is very important because it's going to tell us how we can prepare ourselves to change careers. I just want to speak briefly about changing of careers. Why is it important for you to change a career, or why do you need to upgrade your career? This is very important because I've spoken to a lot of doctors that I understand that you are doctors, yes, well and good, but what about specializing? We have to specialize. We have to take the higher role in society, whatever it is, especially in this day and age where a black and brown communities under a lot of attack. If we do not take those positions, I see Dr. Thandeka, you are on, but you didn't make a request, so I don't know why I can't add you. But thank you for joining. I can see you watching. Can you send a request so that I can welcome you? I cannot bring you into the conversation. I can bring Nkule Hlophe. Nkule has made a request. I don't know if Nkule wants to speak, but I will speak with you, Nkule, as well, because you've made a request. Dr. Thandeka, I can see you online. Please make a request so that I can have you on. Those who are on Instagram, you may not see her unless you tune in on Instagram. If you have an Instagram page, you can tune in on Instagram as well. But please send a request, doctor, so that we can be able to talk to you. But basically what I'm saying is, I went to medical school and I know how difficult it was. And I remember making that decision. It's a scary decision. I don't want to lie to you. The main thing that scares you the most is the 6 years that everybody talks about. You have to go to school for 6 years. Guys, 6 years fly. It's not that bad. Any degree, anyway, for you to really be successful, you will take about 6 years. And guys, what is 6 years when we spend 10 years not doing much sometimes? And even if your interest is in business, even if your interest is in fashion, even if your interest is in dancing, you still have to study. Because when you study, you take a higher role. If you read, you become a professor in the dancing, in the whatever you're doing. But in medicine, a lot of people get comfortable with one position. And that's the danger. You become stagnant as a doctor. You don't read, you don't upgrade yourself, and then you start making mistakes. This is where challenges come in. You become outdated. You don't know the latest information. You don't know the latest things that are happening in the industry. Then you become stagnant. Then you start making errors. Like some people, there's new diseases all the time. We have to upgrade ourselves. We have to read every day. That's unfortunate. Whether you actively practicing as a doctor, or you just change your career, you will always have to read. I know the community read too. So it is very important that we upgrade ourselves. It says you are a viewer. Guest request, allow viewers to join. Okay, so I need to press this. Hold on. Okay, let me see. Can you make a request, doctor? I can't add you. You have to send a request, doctor. There's no adding. You have to send a request and then I have to accept you. Guys, can you explain how social media works to doctors? You have to send a request. I can't just add you. Exactly the same thing. I made a notice to the nurses page. I said, we're doing this mentoring, Dr. Mazibuko mentoring program. Please add yourself on this link. People didn't add themselves. You have to send a request. Can you come out and come back again? Maybe we can be able to bring you on, but I cannot bring you. It just doesn't even say bring on. This is frustrating. Our last guest, we missed our last guest, 2 guests like this, because they couldn't use social media. I asked you to practice, doctor, on other social media so you know how to get in online. I really have no clue because I've pressed all buttons that need to be pressed. Now I'm gonna end up turning off. Okay, she's gone. She's gonna come back again. Okay, let's talk, because press the button with the picture and the little square. Press the button with the picture and the little square. She doesn't have that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about changing careers. Why is it important to change your career? It's important to change your career because you need to upgrade as a human being. And remember also, as Black people, Black and brown community, we were refused opportunities to take higher role in society. This is the time that we have to take a higher role in our society. There's no other time better than this one to submit your applications to the universities. We cannot fight racism by protesting only. It's good to protest. I'm for protesting. I'm for peaceful protest. Yes, let's do it. Let's make our voices be heard. But after you've protested, you cannot protest all your life. Racism is 400 years old. How are we going to conquer racism if we only depend on protest? So there's going to be a time where we need to say, what are the long-term plans that we need to implement in our society in order to be able to combat racism on a long-term base? We just have to study and upgrade, take those positions, apply for those positions. When I applied for radiation oncology, there were no Black doctors. And the professor believed that he will never hire a Black doctor in his whole entire life. And when I came, he wasn't pleased. Guys, you gotta go out there and make somebody uncomfortable with your application. Somebody's gonna get very uncomfortable when you apply. Please, I encourage you, go make them uncomfortable. Somebody's gonna be very uncomfortable with your research. Don't be intimidated. Go ahead and submit that research. I became the first doctor in KZN on oncology department at UKZN to submit a research paper. And I was told to take my research back home with me because I'm disrespecting Professor Jordan, who was my head of department for 25 years almost and had never submitted any research paper. Go make someone comfortable. Go shake them up. They didn't even know what to do because what I did, I was only 6 months in the department when they've kept me waiting for 5 years because I was black. So they refused to let me do oncology because of my skin color. So while they kept me waiting, I was reading books. The same books they were being taught, I was reading them myself. Guys, you can take any book right now, even if it's however difficult language, you can read it until you understand it. My grandmother never went to school, but she could read the Bible in and out. I learned from my grandmother. I said, if my grandmother can teach herself how to read a Bible. The South African president never went to school, but he spoke English. So if you think you're going to depend on school to teach you, you're behind. You as a parent, take a book and read to your kids, and read the advanced books as possible, not to push your child, but try to upgrade the whole family. It doesn't matter whether you're 70, doesn't matter whether you're 16. We all have to try and improve our education. There is no other way. The first thing that we were denied was education, and there's a reason why they're denying us education. The racism sector, or the systemic racism, it is denying us education because they know once you have that paper proving that you are a judge, they cannot decline you a space in that court. Once you have a paper proving that you are a top surgeon, even if you're the only one, they have to let you in. So you need that paper. I know skills are important. We have natural skills, but why don't you perfect your skills? If you're good at sewing, go and do your sewing and perfect it. Let's see if Doctor is here. Okay, I see Dr. It says your viewers are Dr. Tobeg, but why are you not sending a request? Somebody had sent a request before and I accepted it. I don't know what to do now. I think this interview is not going to work because the doctor doesn't know. I've already allowed viewers to join. It says allow viewers to join. I allowed the viewers to join. Doctor, you have to ask somebody to help you send in a request because we need to speak with you. And we've prepared for a very long time to have this interview. And if we cannot have this interview, we may not be able to have it again. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is I'm just sharing my own life, how I did it. I'm not saying it's the best way. Lindelani Stole Sawubona, thanks for joining. Colors of Humanity, that's a nice page. Hi, welcome Colors of Humanity. So you have to, if you're in medical school right now, and you know next day you're going for second year, in December or in July or summer break, start taking the second year books and read them on your own. Racism helped me to be even sharper. To have a racist professor denying me of sitting in the lecture theater with him because I was black made me even smarter. I started reading all the protocols that they were using and found that they were using wrong methods. This is how I discovered that patients at Grace Hospital were treated with the wrong dose. Nobody told me. I went to a book and I started reading about cervical cancer. And I read about the brachytherapy. They refused to let me in the room. All other white doctors, Indian doctors at Inkosi Albe Lutuli Hospital in Durban, South Africa, were allowed to get into the brachy room. I was not allowed. At Grace Hospital, I was not allowed. Even finally, after maybe 4 years, they let me touch the brachytherapy. it was because I had submitted a research proposal in 2010. Actually, I submitted it in 2009. They refused it. They telling me that my professor has not submitted a paper, so they cannot be able to allow me to do that research. And they told me because my professor has never done any research, so they cannot let me because I won't have a supervisor. That is the challenge as well that we are facing, that we have these old racist professors who are just hogging spaces. And my professor was not even a professor, was an honorary professor. So the professorship was given to him as a favor or as an acknowledgement of the work that he's done. But then him not being equipped with skills, he blocked the intelligence and the success so that we can all do things like him. So all he cared about was making money. I didn't care about making money. I wanted to bring change. I wanted to research. I wanted to bring more Black people in the department. So it is very important that you do things that have never been done before. Not because you're smart, no, because you are assertive, you're compassionate, you're passionate, and you are willing to do all it costs to improve your own quality of life. It's about you. It's not about the fame or fortune. Black people who came after me were after the positions. They were after being the first Black. I didn't care about being a first Black. I cared about being a Black with my skills and not being blocked. That's what I cared about. I cared about justice. I care about education. So what they did, they started pushing me and supporting racism in order for them to be recognized as the first Black. What do you get for being first Black? You cannot erase someone's path. At the end of the day, they try to even, UKZN has tried to erase my registration of my research, and I still have a student card. I took a picture of it. So why would people try to make like you didn't exist? I don't understand. This is the challenge we have as Black community. We allow racism to exist by supporting racism and gaining benefits that racism has. Racism has amazing benefits for people who are opportunistic. That imagine if I was opportunistic, I would have got into oncology. I would have be so happy that I'm the first Black and I'm alone. I would have not invited Dr. Nkanyiso Zwane, who was all in the mountains being a general practitioner. I spoke exactly the same words to him. I said, why are you sitting in the private practice in the middle of nowhere where you're not making impact, but all you see, you're focusing on looking after the community, when you can go into oncology and make a difference in cancer patients, and over and above that, become a researcher, over and above that, go and speak in conferences. I understand general practitioners are very important, but if you can study further, why don't you go ahead and study further? Ulindelani said, and it's said that we are still facing quite similar situation. Yes, we are. We are the problem for our own selves. I lived in a racist society, and I watched how Black people behave around a racist white person. They love white supremacy. I've also watched here in the United States that African Americans have segregation against us as Africans, and Africans also have issues with African American. Why? This is the division that racism and apartheid and slavery had brought, and we're still propagating it without even being conscious that we're doing it. You walk into Harlem, you say, my name is Thandeka Mazibuko. An African American will stare like, I can't say that. Why can't you say my name? You're behaving exactly like the racist white supremacy that said to us, we cannot call you by your name. We have to call you Joe, Joseph, they changed our names so that it can be comfortable for them. Why should it be comfortable for you? My name has an origin. My name has its roots. My name comes from somewhere. My name is a lineage of my ancestors. You change that, you change me. Hell no, don't change my name. My name is Thandeka Mazibuko. It's a Zulu name coming from my Zulu origin, from my Zulu food, my Zulu clothing. It has the origin. We should remove the mentality of slavery in our heads. It is embedded in us. We are propagating it unaware or aware. We think what is white is better, or what is closer to being white is better. So what we do, we bleach our own skin. So we have to change. I know we are pushing for change from the outside, but there will be a change outside, and when they come back, they see how conflicted we are, it's going to cause a mess anyway. This is why racism may not go away until we bring the change within ourselves. We have to get ourselves educated. We have to get ourselves upgraded wherever we are. Wherever you are. I've read of stories where people who were cleaners are now doctors, who were petrol attendants, working in the gas stations. They are now doctors. How do they do it? Here's Dr. Thandeka Mazibuko. She was a nurse and she became a doctor. So why can't you do it? Are you lazy? Are you scared? Scared of who? The books? The reason why we're scared of books is because our parents don't bring us up with the mentality of reading. My mother forced me every day to read a Bible. Sit down, sit still, and read. So sitting down and being still and thinking and planning and writing is the easy thing because I was trained to do it. Nothing can take that away from me. So some of the successes are rooted to our own upbringing. So it is very important that you bring up your children in a way that empowers them. I watched a video of a child that was posted on Instagram. A child watching TV to the dance move, like sexual dance moves, and the child imitating exactly. Then I responded. I said, imagine if this child was watching a math equation and regurgitating a math equation. Some of you are going to respond, oh, our children now are not supposed to have fun. Okay, give your child a toy gun. Then they will carry a real gun. Make your child do sexy moves. Then they will be on the pole. Give your child a book. Your child will end up in the library. It's your choice. Life is about choices. We make our own choices. And our choices will bring the outcome of our future. Yes, you're going to say, but doctor, you went through all the suffering. At the end of the day, everything was taken away from you. I went through my 4-year training of suffering and I got my Dean's commendation at the end. I've got a signature from the Dean of completing my oncology registration. But I could not work in an environment where I was being called a monkey, abused and harassed, gossiped every day. I couldn't work like that. I couldn't work with black people supporting white supremacy when they are at a lower level anyway. I realize the people I'm dealing with are at the very low level to think that if I'm black, I'm less. So let me go and be with the people who are at the same level as me. Hi, Dr. Putseng, how you doing? Welcome. So I needed people who are at the level as me. My professor could not even write a research paper. Why should I waste myself with my time with people who are not being progressive? So I might as well be in a society where if injustices happen, I can report it too. I might as well be liberated to be myself and do the things that I like the way that everybody else is doing in the world. To To have a head of department who's implementing a wrong treatment protocol to patients, you have no idea how painful that is. That's what's happening that was what's happening in Gray's Oncology. When cervical cancer patients were coming to be treated, they were given 7 Gray stats. A 7 Gray is a dose for radiation. It's like 50 milligrams. We use 50 milligrams, 20 milligrams for the pill. So we were giving 7 Gray stats. I've even gone on Twitter. I read every book. I started reading, looking for this dose. I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere for this dose of 7 Gray stats for cervical brachytherapy. For those who are in oncology, this was a cervical HDR, cervical brachytherapy to point A, which we use 7 Gray stats with a total dose of 50.4 Gray. Those who are in oncology will understand me. I apologize for everyone else. I know a lot of doctors may not understand this, but the dose, and there was a boost of 5.4 Gray added to the 50.4 Gray. So the GTV was 50.4 Gray. So then you will give brachytherapy on 3rd week. Before 2016, before 2006, we were giving 7 Gray times 3 fractions, which a total dose of 21 Gray. But they changed, which was thumbsucked, into 7 Gray stats only for all stages, from stage 1 to stage 4B. All the patients, they were not stratified according to stages, were all given the same dose of 7 Gray. I looked at this treatment, it didn't make sense because I was reading on my own. I was not depending on a professor. While all the doctors were quoting Professor Jordan as the implementer of this protocol and Dr. Omren Okoa, I decided I'm going to go to the book and read, because I believe people who are writers than people who are talkers and memorizers. There are those people who are going to be your bosses who memorize other people's principles. But I deal with the main person. I go back to the book because the book I can ask, it's in writing. Then I realized this dose is not there. This is the importance of reading on your own, guys. This thing of just taking things from as you told and you don't question things, it's the reason why we get into a lot of challenges. We go with the flow. If the president says this, then we all go with him. If the minister of health says this, then you have to question things. Question why things are done. How are they done? What are other people doing? When I read about brachytherapy, I didn't find this dose. And thank God they were not allowing me, not that it was good, but it prompted me to study even further. The fact that they were not allowing me into a brachytherapy room, they were not allowing me into radiotherapy room, which is paid by the government, by the way. It is paid by the Black South African government. It's the taxpayers' money. But these doctors were using the taxpayers' money to block me from accessing healthcare, which was going to benefit patients. Why do you want to make a doctor redundant? You are killing patients, basically. But I decided I'm not going to be a stupid doctor. I've never heard of something like that. You're trying to make they were trying to make me work like a glorified nurse. So I decided I'm not going to accept that. So I'm going to read. The more I read, the more I realized they were doing wrong things. The more I questioned them. The more I questioned them, the more they were angry, threatening to suspend me each time. The more I read, the more I realized these people are doing wrong things. But you keep quiet, you write, you ask, you raise it in meetings, and nothing happens because they have this mentality that I am the boss. I tell you what to do. Not in medicine. In medicine, we all sign our own ethic. You stick with your own ethical code and don't move no matter who says what. Because at the end of the day, it's about your career. You are the doctor who put that signature. If they go down, you go down with them. So I realized this treatment is not there. I started writing a research paper about this treatment. 7 grade stat. I presented before I presented the page, I couldn't write a research protocol. So I went to ask Dr. Morove, who is in philosophy, not even in medicine. Because why I went to Dr. Morove? Because doctors are very stingy. I want to tell you that. Doctors can be very self-centered. People don't know that. Imagine taking all the A students and put them in one room and say, perform. They're going to push and shove each other so that each one can rise. So I find that doctors were not helpful in my experience. This is my experience. I asked to get help writing a research paper. People will take you from pillar to post. Maybe they didn't know how to. Because in South Africa, research is not mandatory for you to graduate. So a lot of people have graduated who are senior and they never touch research in their whole life. But in the US, medical students are doing research. In South Africa, it's not very common. I am hoping that things will change. So what happens is I started going around looking for professors who are going to help me. You have to be hungry for knowledge. You have to go extra mile to gain and to improve yourself. I did not sit back and cry. I decided, yes, I can. Look at my t-shirt. Yes, I can. I decided, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can learn this. Yes, it's gray. It's a different language. It's physics. Oncology has a lot of physics. There's a lot of math, but it has radiobiology, it has genetics. It has a lot of actually every single part of medicine is in oncology. I said, I don't care how hard it may be. I'm going to learn this. So I then went into this professor at UKZN Westville, Pietermaritzburg campus. I drove there. He is from Zimbabwe. He is an author, a philosopher, and African ethics, who's published so many books. And UKZN will not give him his professorship. That's another very painful thing that was happening, that he had published so many books. He qualified to be a professor, but they would not give him the word professor. But he had more work than other professors who were white and other races. But at the end of the day, I sat down in his office. I pleaded with him to help me. Every day I would write. It only took me 3 months. I was done with my paper. He was also shocked because I spent sleepless nights. I was on the computer every day. I must have read more than 50 articles on brachytherapy. Usianda Ngobo, say thanks for giving us this multi talk, but I have a question with regard to the wrong practice about cancer patients. Drop your question and make it short, because if you make it long, I won't be able to see your just drop a question. Don't say I have a question to ask. You're more than welcome to ask any question. At the end of the day, this is what I'm sharing with you, that you have to question everything that you see on the table. I know COVID-19 is a challenge and we don't have treatment for it, but still don't allow just ill treatment of patients, because it happens. And you find that doctors who don't read are making a problem in our society. And usually it's our bosses who want not to be told what to do. I'm sorry, we're going to ask you, we're going to question you, what is it that you want to do? So we're going to question you, what is it that you're doing? So what happens was, this professor helped me, sat down with me. He explained how to do research proposal when I was denied even to enter lectures. And I was learning things they were not even learning. You know, sometimes when people block you, they make you actually better if you don't give up. I received a message from one of the students. He was a nurse, went to law school. He wanted to specialize in public health. So he submitted his research paper. He asked me for advice. because UKZN was denying him an opportunity to do a research in, Lyra Alicia says so true, was denying him to submit a research in public health, but then he ended up submitting in some department, ended up doing something he don't like. I don't like that. Why do you guys do that to yourself? Why, when I want to specialize in oncology, I get told I must do radiology? That's exactly what happened with me. 2008, I applied in 2007. 2008, I was offered a post in radiology. I said, I don't want radiology. I want radiation oncology. Why are you giving me radiology? The Minister of Health, who was Minister of Health at that time, said to me, because we have a black doctor who is Dr. Ndlovu, who is the head of radiology. He's our comrade. He's going to help you specialize in radiology. I said, you don't get it. I want oncology. Why are you not allowing black people in oncology? Why you as leadership cannot face this professor and tell him to employ black people? Why are you scared of Professor Yordan? Why do I have to go to Professor Ndlovu just because he's black? I am not asking for favors. I qualify to be in oncology. Why should I get a black person doing favors for me to be in a department that I don't like just because I'm black and he's black? Hell no. I want oncology. The white supremacist must employ me, and he will employ me, whether he likes it or not, because I qualify. If I qualify, I get in. If I don't qualify, I will still get in. Watch how I improve myself. So trust me, I'm going to be at your door, whether you block me or accept me. So you might as well accept me now. So he denied, blocked me for years. But back to the brachytherapy position, research. I found that as I read, I don't see this dose. I started calling Johannesburg. I said, please tell me, do you know about this dose that we're using of 7-gray stat of patients of cervical cancer, all stages? When they come to us in oncology, we give them 7-gray stats. I don't see this dose anywhere. This professor was also an honorary professor in Johannesburg. Anyway, South Africa has been producing honorary professors in oncology, giving them these professorships they don't deserve. All the white doctors, all the white senior in oncology. Professor Abrat was not a professor, was an honorary professor. When I emailed him, I said, my professor is an honorary professor. He can't supervise me. Can you supervise my research? Professor Abrat in Cape Town told me, I cannot supervise your research too, because I'm the honorary professor too. So we were stuck with all the honorary professor. Definitely they were intimidated with me because I was doing things that they had not even done before in their 20 years of their lives. Some black kids are going to grow up to be very smart. Watch what's going to be happening. God is blessing the black people who are being undermined with amazing intelligence. We're going to find a lot of cures. We're going to find a lot of we're going to break the universe with the intelligence that we possess. Trust me, you are more intelligent than the people who are blocking you. That's why they're blocking you, because they're scared of you. They know when you take over, you're going to raise the bar. I remember Dr. Who's this guy? Blade Zemande came to UKZN, my university. When I say UKZN, I'm talking about the University of KwaZulu-Natal for people in the US. This is the university in South Africa, which was built on apartheid. This is the university where Steve Biko was killed. I went to this university. Hi, Lyra Licious. Dr. Churaman said yes. Hi, Dr. Churaman. One day we must have this talk. This university, it's where Steve Biko, who was a medical student, was killed. It is called, the medical school is called Nelson Mandela School of Medicine. But if you look into its history, you will see that in 1976, black doctors used to live in a residence called Alan Taylor. Follow the page called Alan Taylor residents. It's on Instagram and Facebook, so you can read more. The university is not telling us, and it's hiding the truth about exactly what happened in Alan Taylor. We don't have the pictures, we don't have the stories, and the doctors who were in Alan Taylor in 1976 are not telling the truth too. They're sweet talking this whole thing. We need the truth. In 1976, this University of KwaZulu-Natal, was built on racism. It has racism standards. It has racism statues, which students have fought to remove and painted. The root of the university is black people should not succeed. So in 1976, medical doctors were living outside the city because they were not allowed in the city. So black doctors had to come into campus to study with other white doctors and Indian. Remember, Indians were black in those days. So Indians as well were living in Alan Taylor residence. Alan Taylor residence was next to the oil refinery. The oil refinery was caused these doctors to have a lot of diseases like asthma, eczema. These were black doctors. They were thrown next to the oil refinery to stay there. This is my university. Now that becomes the university that oppressed me, basically. Years after Nelson Mandela was liberated. I'm talking about 2007, where I was told I'm black, I cannot be accepted. And there was a doctor from Rwanda who had came to visit as a supernumerary. He could not stay too. He left. He suffered so much. He couldn't stand Professor Yodan. I am the only one who stood for 4 years, and for four years of my training, plus the many other years, in total 10 years, just to get a degree, which is 4 years. And it goes on. I will read you some of the emails one day when I get time. You'll be shocked of the things they were saying to me, the way they were treating me. I wasn't even allowed to write exams. I couldn't even sit down to, if you have an exam, they will put you on call on that day so that you are tired in an exam. A lot of torture went on in that institution. And the political leaders know. Dr. Zweli Mkhize knows about this. I told him, I had a meeting with him. President Zuma knows about this. I had meetings with him. Our own politicians are supporting racism. This is my experience. It tells me that my politicians supports racism, because had they not, they would have not renewed the contract for someone who was racist, someone who was clearly denying black doctors. They would have not renewed the contract. So they decided they want to get rid of me and erase my existence. It wasn't going to be that easy, because I am not that easy to deal with, because I'm smart and I'm hardworking and I'm genuine. I don't cheat nobody. I'm not unethical. I treat patients with dignity. So whatever you try to do to get rid of me, it's going to be very hard. So, ladies and gentlemen, when this research was then finally, Professor Murovo helped me back into research, because some of the things is just advice that I'm sharing with you. And I'm going to go through them in brief and then go back to the same topic, because it's something that I remember and I recall from my experience. And I hope you learn something and you learn to be resistant. I want you to be resilient. I want you to be forceful. I want you to go and make it. I don't want you to be blocked by anybody. I don't want anyone to tell you, you can't get in there, you can't do this, you can't sit there, you can't qualify for this. Why? Why should a white person qualify and because I'm black, I don't qualify? You are disqualifying us so that you can prove your mental sickness that a black is not smart. So you do all the criminal activities to disqualify us. That's exactly what they do. They will try by all means to disqualify you and fail you so they can prove what's in their head. This is why I said, actually, racism is a mental illness that is just waiting for DSM-4 criteria. We need psychiatrists to start helping cure the racism. So I started learning how to write a research paper on my own. I slept on the floor of one of the offices where there was a computer, because at that time my computer had a problem and I didn't have enough funding to be able to pay for a new computer. So I used this computer. I slept on the floor for 3 months, wrote this research paper. I had this philosopher who was reading my research paper on cervical brachytherapy. Can you believe it? And we did a great job. He said to me, go and submit. Don't approach them until you have a full paper. And I'm going to give you this advice. If you know your supervisor is not supporting you, go on the side, write your full research paper. You can do it on your own. Write a full research paper. Go to the postgraduate office and register your master's, register your PhD, or master's looking into a PhD. You can do it on your own. If you got one person who believes in you, that's all you need. You need one person to believe in you. Go and find that one person and ask them, please help me. Be humble. What I noticed about doctors and medical students is they are so, how do I describe it? You help people and they cannot come back and say thank you. They actually walk away and act like they did it on their own. You have to be humble. You have to try by all means to be as humble as possible and go back and say thank you to people who are helping you. So the research paper was done. Then I went to submit. I was told, no, they cannot accept my research paper because the reason was Professor Jordan has not written any research, and he is the senior, and the University of KwaZulu-Natal Medical School does not have a supervisor for me. And I just recently, last day, submitted another paper, which I'm working with the UK. I was working with UK, and I was working also with VETS and UKZN, both. Because it's a trial, people who are heading the department, like right now, the person who's heading UKZN, does not even have a research, does not even qualify to be the head of department. So because of their fear of you coming with an advanced research, they just decline it or ignore you. Or fortunately, I received some of the emails. They were talking to each other. What are we going to do with the student? She's submitting a paper and we don't have a head of department. We cannot supervise her. They are talking to themselves. And I got this email. Why are you not telling me? Why don't you just come up front and say, University of KwaZulu-Natal Medical School does not have a supervisor for you. Your research is too advanced for our level. We therefore cannot accept your research based on our inequalities. Why do you have to make a student horrible when they're smart? You have to be careful when you're treated bad. It means you're smart. And they're going to try to paint you as a bad person so they look good when they know they don't even do the exceptional work and you are exceptional. So how many times our research are going to be declined when we submit? How many times are we not going to be funded for our research? How many times are we going to apply for the places we belong and we get told we are black? Yes, I know I'm black, but my brain ain't black. And I told you I want to study this, and I'm going to study it whether you like it or not. So today was a talk to say upgrade yourself. So when I finally submitted my research paper, I was told to go home and wait for 3 months. I went home and I waited for 3 months. I was told to wait for professor. And who told me? Was this lady in administration. Her name, I'm going to write her name down right here. I don't know why I'm forgetting her name. But she told me to go back. What was her name? She was big, mixed race lady. I have all her emails. I printed everything. But she told me to go back. She cannot allow me to register. And you know what I want to tell you guys? These people who are administrators, watch them. The administrators, first of all, are not doctors. They are not lawyers. They are not researchers. They are gatekeepers. They are not qualified. Hi, Sena. Hi, Dr. Sena. Hi, Kanye. Hi, Ernest Tiane. Hi, Domenico. And Sianda, I don't know what question do you have. Can you write a question, Sianda, that you had on the side so I can read it for you? Remember, I'm holding two phones, guys. So the people who are blocking you, I'll tell you who first started blocking me in 2007. It was Professor Jordan's secretary, Ricky. She was rude, loud. But that's how it was. It was the society that allowed her to be like that. It is the environment that our government has allowed it to be like that. If we live in an oppressive society and we allow oppression, it's going to block us, obviously. So go out there and demand what you need in a professional way. Be professional. Fix everything that needs to be fixed. And stand on your ground. Stand. It doesn't matter how many years. We have social media. We didn't have social media back then. Can you imagine if every day I was on social media telling the things that I saw? A lot of people would have lost their jobs if I recorded Professor Jordan, if I recorded my colleagues chasing me out of the lecture theaters, making me feel like I'm a nurse when they were treating me like I was a nurse, having to follow up behind them. Do not accept the treatment and do not accept the second choice. Take the first choice. You are black and you're proud. You're intelligent and you can make it. Whoever told you can't make it, it's because they're failures themselves. But you're not a failure. So yes, you can make it. So what happened was I decided I'm going to move ahead. 3 months is over now, and Professor has not written any research paper. So Dr. Churman said it's true. Yes, Dr. Churman, the problem is we are already doctors. We are already an A student to get to medical school. And then you are a doctor and you're working hard. And somebody is going to stand there and make you feel like you're doing nothing. Just because they have a problem with your skin color. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow you to make me feel stupid just because you have a problem with me. To a point that they had to steal my identity to block me from writing my exams. They stole my identity. So for 3 years, I was fighting an identity issue. Some of the exams I would go being unprepared and would not make it because they were not allowing me to sit for exams until a day of the exam or a night before the exam. And they will drop a letter because in South Africa, you need a head of department to approve you to write an exam. What nonsense is that? A head of department has to write a letter saying, yes, I know Dr. Thandeka Mazibuko. In my case, my head of department, acting head of department, and my dean denied me that I even exist in oncology. Yet I was seeing patients with them every day. They wrote a letter to Health Profession Council say they don't know me. So how are they going to write me a letter? I was surprised when I went to Health Profession Council and I was told that there's a letter saying they don't know me. They know Dr. Reddy, Dr. J. Reddy, who stole my identity. And when I asked Dr. J. Reddy and I say, Dr. Reddy, give back my identity so that I can be able to progress with my life, he will tell me that I'm threatening him and start writing a letter to Prof. Hift. I was like, why are you writing to Prof. Hift when every time I'm asking about my identity and I'm talking with you as my colleague, you are using my identity and we are working together every day. Give back my identity. He will start saying, I have anger issues. This has nothing to do with anger. I am asking you for my identity. Bring it back. You have my identity. You were given my identity. Did you pay for it? I don't know. Did you bribe for it? I don't know. But you are earning my salary, and I'm not getting paid because of you. I have a child to take care of, and my child is starving at home. Just because I'm black, and just because I want to study, why should I be tortured just to get into oncology? Why should we be tortured to learn something so important to treat cancer? I'm being tortured for something that's going to benefit the community. Why? Why do you have to bully me and call me a monkey and refuse me lectures? But even if they do that, you still cannot give up on your dream. They are doing that, so you give up. So don't give up. So I waited 3 months, came back. I submitted my paper again. Dennis Heslop, I remember her name. I went to Dennis Heslop. I submitted my research again. This is like the 3rd time. She said to me, do you know that submitting this research is going to get you in trouble? Because Professor Yodan will be very offended that you're the first one to submit research in oncology when they've been there for many years. I said, ma'am, here is my paper. It's completed. I don't need your research supervisor because you don't have. This is another problem. Our university's ceiling is so low that we are so advanced beyond the university levels, and they get threatened and they suppress us to their level. Why is UKZN hiring a head of department who don't have research? What's the use of having a person who cannot research? Please tell me, please. How can you be the head of department, have no research paper? Already you're setting the standards too low. Yet you are refusing me, telling me I'm black, I don't qualify. When I get in, I realize everyone is dumb in here. They're not doing anything. They're not working hard. This is just a congregation of dumb people who are pushing themselves and congratulating themselves for being dumb. Why would you not do research when you're head of department? Why would the university tell me they don't have a research supervisor? I don't get that. Already the university is planning us to be failures. I just heard that the UKZN received a 40 million funding, something like that, for lung cancer. How many black doctors are getting that money? If you're in oncology and you're black, or if you're in surgery or wherever you are, write a research paper on lung and claim that money because it belongs to you too. But you're not going to be accepted. You're going to be blocked. Dennis Heslop was not a doctor. There was another lady also at Alba Lutulu when I came to apply. She told me, you will not get in. Professor Yodan don't take black people. She was black, telling me that Professor Yodan don't take black people. I looked at her, I said, I'll show you. I'm getting in. I don't care how long it takes. It took me 5 years to get in. It took me another many more years to stay in. They tried everything. But you gotta stick with what you want. Some people say, I cannot suffer. I understand. It's not easy to suffer. But at the end of the day, guys, you can do it. You can make it. I'm running out of time. The hour is up. So we will continue this conversation. But the message I want to relay to you is, please go ahead. Be the best that you can. And you can do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, we can. You can do it. No matter who says what, no matter who tells you what, but you can. I believe in you. So that was Instagram. It's over with Instagram. I won't be able to continue. I have to save this. Just give me a moment, please. It is so important that we don't take no for an answer. So at the end of the day, I ended up submitting my research, and the university and the hospital has blocked that research. They don't allow me to still proceed with this research because they know. I want to answer Usiand. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can do it. hold on, I'm just trying to save this. So what happened was I finally submitted the research, finally made it through, but the challenge was the hospital. Grace Hospital is refusing to let me continue with my research. I have research ethics approval from KZN department. I have research approval from University of KwaZulu-Natal, but Grace Hospital is refusing. So what happened was this doctor who implemented the Professor Jordan has resigned when he messed up the department. He basically fucked it up. So he resigned, which was a strategy on its own. I can say a lot about that. And Dr. El Kowa just left for Saudi Arabia when I brought back this research. Then he left. So South Africa loses because all those patients are going to die and nobody is going to take charge of it. So the Minister of Health is in charge. How far did the matter go about the ethical rights of patient on the matter you spoke about regarding treatment? Yes, you can, Dr. Dladla. Can you please come through, Dr. Dladla, please? We need you. Hi, Kathy. We welcome you, Kathy. Dr. Dladla, what do I do with you? Nkosi yami. Awuphume, Dr. Dladla, ubuye ungene futhi. Awuzama ukuphuma uphinde ungene. Sometimes umuntu mengena kiyasho lento ethi bring them on live. Kuwena ayisho. I don't know why. Is there anyone who can help Dr. Dladla and send her a message? She's here online, and send her a message how to come through. But guys, at the end of the day, you can do anything you want. Excuse me. The other thing that we don't do is unite. And when somebody tries to help you and you don't take them seriously, you take them for granted, you take the help for granted. This is our challenge, that we don't take sometimes things seriously and we don't put passion and energy into what we do. You gotta put some passion and energy in everything that you do, especially when it comes to a career. Maybe I'm taking things a lot serious because I suffered a lot for what I have. I suffered a lot. It's not easy to make, Dr. Dladla, you have to ask for help. Somebody to help you to get in. You can talk to anyone who's online and email and inbox them so that they can help you. You need to come out of the live and come back again, and let's see if we can bring you back on. So it's very important. Sena Milemtiane, doctor. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But Sena, why you guys are quiet? I just want to ask that. Why you don't speak up? Why you don't speak about these issues? Why do we have to hide? Why do we have to be too professional to speak the truth? We have to liberate ourselves. This is the moment to speak and tell your truth. Tell how things made you feel, how things were said to you made you feel, how the injustices have blocked amazing people, amazing doctors, amazing oncologists who left. I know a lot of doctors who couldn't do in oncology because of the racism that is all over in the country. Doctors know there's racism, nurses know there's racism, but we're quiet. Why do we keep quiet? Why does someone pinch you and you keep quiet and you don't say, ouch, stop, you're pinching me? Are you scared that if you tell them, ouch, you're pinching me, they're going to pinch you again? Let them pinch you again, tell them again. Let them try and pinch you again, tell them again. And if all 10 of us are saying, ouch, you're pinching me, remove your knee on my neck. I can't breathe. Something is going to happen. If all of us are saying we can't breathe, UKZN is really a racist university. And it's not right to continue with racial injustices and demeaning the black people into lower positions or whatever the case is. But we know that the dean is black. We know that the dean now is a female, a black female. But are there changes that are happening when I submit my research last year and lost an opportunity to present this year because the paper was published this year? And they take my research paper and spread it to all other doctors without my permission. Why would a university behave in that manner? We need to address the challenges we face in our universities. This is why I started this page called End Racism Coalition, which is a coalition of academics who are saying we want to address these issues. Please follow that page. We want to address these issues at the academic level, because the academic solutions is what brings the society in par with, it's what brings the society victories, is the academic. Look at COVID-19. COVID-19 need researchers and scientists, and who are there? How many blacks are going to take part in COVID-19? I attended a forum on February 28th at University of Columbia. None of these doctors knew anything about COVID-19. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to empower themselves, empower each other, and leave us behind in this research environment. And how many times I've emailed the Dean of Columbia Presbyterian Hospital and speaking to her about my funding, my research, which brought me to New York, and she ignores me. This is not right, because Columbia University works very close to UKZN, and they know that racism exists because they see the demographics of people who are being granted funding. And when I get funding for my research, I need to know where my money goes to. And then if I ask, where's my money? I ask my research supervisor, Dr. Dawood, she's not telling me. When I ask what happened to the funding that I received, nobody responds to me. I wrote a paper. My paper is blocked by Grace Hospital because the treatment they were using was wrong to patients. We don't know. We need to research and find out, because nobody used this treatment. So we need to know whether the treatment is wrong or what. We need to understand why cervical cancer patients are dying. We cannot do that unless we do a research. So what they're doing, they're getting rid of files now. So by the time in South Africa, they get rid of files, which is illegal. They should not get rid of files. They should keep the files, even paper files. They should scan them and put them on computers and store them. Now they're getting rid of these files so that by the time it's 20 years down the line, the research has not been done, there's no proof. And patients would have died, and relatives don't know anything, and doctors who are in the industry have no clue, because most doctors don't know oncology and they get confused. If I can ask Sena right now, she's a doctor. If I can ask Kanye right now, she's a nurse. If I ask Tobeka right now, she's in medical school. I ask them, what is 7th grade? What does it mean when I say give 7th grade to point A? They won't know. They cannot analyze this. This is a complicated language. If I ask, what is brachytherapy? A lot of people don't know brachytherapy. All they know, they send cervical cancer patients to oncology to be treated, but they don't know how we treat. So the knowledge we have is very rare. And the oncologists who are black are quiet and silent. So the community actually die and nobody knows. I am actually the only person who's concerned about this treatment of patients. I am the only one who researched this treatment and found that it was not in any book. Then I asked Dr. Elkowa, where did you get this research from? Where did you get this dose from? Did you just thumb suck it? He doesn't like that question. Then they revert to torturing me because I'm inquiring to save your life, your mother's life, your sister's life, because I am the one who goes to the mountains and valleys providing free cancer screening to the cancer patients. I cannot afford to bring the mother from the rural village who we've provided free screening for, comes with stage 1A, and then is delayed by the system to the point that they stage 4B. By the time they get to us, we give them the wrong treatment. It's just bizarre. This is why they don't want intelligent people in the system, because intelligent people will question things, and when they question things, they'll be caught that they're doing wrong things, and when they caught that they're doing wrong things, they will lose their jobs. So they might as well continue doing whatever they like to do unethical things to patients without anybody questioning them. But I am questioning you right now. Where did you get the 7 gray stats to point A cervical brachytherapy HDR that you gave to cancer patients from 2006 to 2017? Please explain to me. Because you stopped giving those patients this dose when I insisted on writing a research paper, and when I reported to public protector, that's the only time you stopped. Why do you as a doctor have to do something unethical to patients and even stopped when somebody is reporting you? We should stop before somebody report us. This is what I'm talking about, that our professors, our seniors are not what we think. They are not as knowledgeable as we think. This is how they get their acknowledgement. They gather together, they each write a certain section of research, and they publish together in a group. And by the time you come for an interview, he tells you that he has 500 publications. There's nobody who can write 500 papers. They collaborate. And what do? We disintegrate. You see? We are failing our own selves. Why are we not collaborating? Seeking funding on our own. Why do you have to wait for somebody to do a research proposal for you? You can do your own research proposal. You see why smart people are not needed in the system? Because they know how to maneuver the system, and they know how to break racism code. Once you master the system, you master how people work, then you know how to not to be defeated. Then you know how to go above everything. But we have to stand united. Our problem is disintegration, and the racism is integration. You will not find a racist person standing against another racist person. Never. Racism stand together. If we can learn from racism, we can even be better. We stand apart. We criticize each other. We speak negatively about each other. We even speak negatively about our own selves. You don't even say positive things to you. How can you say positive things about me? How are you going to give me credit when you can't give credit to yourself? We need to change. I know the society needs to change, but the society is going to change and find us separated and disintegrated, and we lose again. And slavery comes back because we are the cause. We must learn from Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street, Google Black Wall Street, and read how people of Tesla were united. They started building their buildings. They started building their companies. They employed each other. They spent their money on each other. And what happened? They burned them down. The racists came and they burned the whole block of 45 blocks. A block is like almost 10 houses. 45 blocks, that's more than 450 houses of Black people, Black entrepreneurs, Black academics, Black business people. Your business will be sustainable if you educate it. I am for education, for our children, for everyone. Let's stop just making our kids learn whatever. We got to teach our kids. We got to go to those schools and motivate kids, motivate others, motivate each other, compliment each other. This is what we need. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can remove the brainwash. We can succeed. I wish you all the best. I'm sorry Dr. Tlala couldn't join us. Her story, maybe she can do her own live and share it, and we'll share it. But you have to bring, or I have to accept you. I couldn't do it, so we couldn't do it. But Mastanse Putilanga says, your story is touching. Yeah, Mastanse, the story of racism is touching all the time. Once you have a racist professor, you cannot have a good story. And it's our university that exposed us to racism. I had racism, yes, I have racism experience when I was buying my complex in Pinetown. I was called a monkey. I took them to court and I won in court. Judge Nicholson was the judge who heard my case. An Indian guy who was the chairperson of the board told me monkeys don't live here. So I told him, you met the wrong monkey this time, because I'm going to prove to you, first of all, that I'm not a monkey, I'm smart, and I'm going to take you to court. I took them to court, and I was able to buy the apartment in South Africa. So it's just all over us. But universities are responsible to eradicate racism. It's not our responsibility. We don't deserve to be exposed to racist professors. Why are you hiring racist people in the first place? Why do you expose me to a racist teacher? If you know you're a teacher and you hate black students, leave. Leave, go home. Stay with your kids. Teach from home. Teach the white people. Go to white schools. Go to white-owned. There's Orania in South Africa. Go and work there where there's only white people. Why are you staying in a society of democracy, in a democratic society, when you know you're racist? Anyway, guys, at the end of the day, academics are important. We have to upgrade our skills. Yes, Dr. Thandeka Mazibuko, who improved herself from being a nurse to being a medical student now. So if she can do it, so can you. We can all do it. All of us. All of us can do it. I'm trying one more time to see if she sent a request. No request. Even Ukuleganias did the same thing. I couldn't add her. But guys, have a good night in South Africa. And New Yorkers, let's do what we're supposed to do. Let's do our thing. Let's represent. Take care, guys. God bless you.